Guys, I'm Fredric Aasbo, a Norwegian professional drift driver that now get to compete all across the States and Europe and Asia. And today we're at Orlando Speed World here in Florida. We just got done with qualifying Formula Drift Round 2, and right now I'm gonna show you guys around my beautiful Corolla drift car. This car started its life as one of the first 2019 Corolla hatchbacks to make it to American soil. It was a prototype car that we got it after a lot of back and forth with Toyota. You know, the prototypes are really rare and they are used for a lot of different functions. Luckily we got it, built it in the spring or winter and spring last year, 2018. Debuted it at the New York International Auto Show and came out to Long Beach for round 1 and won the event. So that was a fairy tale start to that season. It is a very unusual drift car, being a front-wheel drive car from factory, right? It's not a natural drift car by any means, but that's the cool challenge. This is what the team, Papadakis Racing, has been known to do for years. They had a TC1 back in 07, 09 that they built for Tanner Faust. They built the TC that I started drifting in 2011. Then we built the Corolla IM, and now we're here with the hatchback. So they have a lot of experience turning these front-wheel drive cars into championship contending vehicles. What they do to make them work in Formula Drift is, on the outside, quite simple. It's just turning the motor 90 degrees, putting in a transmission tunnel, a NASCAR transmission. We use a Supra diff and a Lexus basically hub setup and axle setup. So we use a lot of factory Toyota parts still, which I think is pretty cool. And they've proven to be pretty reliable as well. The cool thing that makes it work is the suspension geometry. So we've gotten really lucky with how these cars are made from factory, because in Formula Drift you got to retain the factory suspension design. And the rear subframe actually has a great 5-link setup, and actually it's a trailing arm setup with a couple extra links that work with having torque applied through it. So it's very similar to perhaps a BMW E46 and E36 with that trailing arm. It's a McPherson front end. So even if it sounds like a big challenge making it work, it's actually easier than you'd think. Yeah, and of course then it's all the other, you know, typical drift car things. We run Nitrous for spool, we run straight ethanol, trying to get max steering angle. The front end is designed in-house, but based on Weissfab ideology. Little caster, but more caster trail, and a lot of the modern things that go into building a pro drift car. The engine is a Toyota 2AR. That is a 2.7. Actually, it's a 2.5 liter from factory, but with the 1AR crank, it's 2.7. We don't really use the factory cranks anymore because we push 1,000 horsepower.
All right.
So we have aftermarket billet cranks with wider bearings to handle the load, you know, JE pistons, crazy rods. We run a super trick head gasket setup. The insides of the head is milled out to make a custom rocker arm setup. Some crazy sleeve solution that keeps the sleeves in place. So there's a lot of trick stuff with the motor. You know, it's a big four-banger at 2.7 liters, but it's still a tiny motor compared to the LSs and the Ferrari V12s and Viper V10s. You know, it really is a, you know, it's a soccer mom motor. You know, it's something that you'll find in a street car, and it's pretty cool taking this thing on track and being competitive. We're not always competitive, but when we are, it feels pretty good.
That's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your time, man, and
absolutely,
you've been killing it out there, and hope to see you take something home.
Thank you, and thanks for watching, guys.